It's another Friday. Very good morning to you, sports fans. Many thanks for joining us for Sports Today on ABS TV, the Friday edition. I'm Ike Nwokedi. On the show this morning, I'll begin by telling you that Enugu Rangers is to experience a new breath of freshness. These were the comments of the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in the state, the new Commissioner, Lloyd Ekweremadu. Also, be telling you that the Vice President of SWAN, of course, at the Southeast Zone, talking about Mr. Omokoa, paid a courtesy visit to the number 2 citizen of the state, and that was yesterday. Also on the show, Ghana's Kevin Prince Boateng has called time on his career playing football. We also have news on athletics, Formula 1, tennis, and then league fixtures across matches in Western Europe, league fixtures in Western Europe to clock off the show. Now let's begin with our first story. Our first story is on the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN as they are known. Let's tell you that Anambra State Deputy Governor Dr. Onyeka Ibezim has called for support to the private sector for in the development of sports sector to enable it thrive. The Deputy Governor Ibezim made a call when executive members of Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN Southeast Zone, led by the Vice President, Mr. Frankie Omokoa, paid him a visit in his office at the government house, and that was on Thursday. Dr. Ibezim, who stated that sports sector cannot survive without the help of the private sector, said that private individuals and groups should come forward to support the sector for its sustainability and betterment of the society. The Deputy Governor told the group that the government of Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo is committed to revamping the sports sector of the state, as the administration has already established a committee that will help devise a means of a quick improvement of the sector. Owing to it, I believe that the sector does not only have the ability to boost the economy of the state, but also curb crime and criminality in the society. He acknowledged the contribution of the Sports Writers Association in the projection and development of the sports sector, and assured that Anambra State and Southeast arm of the Association of the Soludo's government support. Earlier in an address at the Southeast Vice President of SWAN, Mr. Omokoa, while saying that the association has played a pivotal role in helping to build the needed expertise among sports writers in the country, explained that one of the major responsibilities of the group is to ensure the development of sports, especially at the grassroots level, is giving support and media attention in order to discover and harness young and budding talent that will represent the country locally and internationally. The SWAN Southeast VP observed that the present administration of Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo has shown capacity, courage, and determination in reviving the sports sector of the state, unlike in the past when Anambra that had produced some of the country's brightest sports stars became irrelevant in the world of sports, even as he disclosed that Southeast SWAN, under his leadership, plans to collaborate with Anambra State government and other states in the zone to give support to innovations that will help to attain more successes in a sports sector. In a vote of thanks, SWAN National Financial Secretary, Mrs. Ijeoma Peter Wante, thanked the Deputy Governor, Dr. Ibezim, for the warm reception he accorded them during this visit, despite his tight schedule. That he appealed that Anambra State government will always support the state's arm of the association when necessary in their program and activities. He stated, and that was the charge made by the group when they paid a courtesy call to the number 2 citizen of the state, in the person of Dr. Onyeka Ibezim, and that was on Thursday when Frankie Omokoa and his team, of course, we are there to see the Deputy Governor of Anambra State. And now we move away from that story. Let's go to Enugu State, and let's tell you that the new season, yes, we hear is expected to commence sometime in the first week or second week of September. But the story is the Rangers International Football Club. Of course, you know they play out at the Oka Asaka City Stadium. And Rangers International FC of Enugu, popularly known as the Flying Antelopes, is set to experience a new breath of freshness ahead of the upcoming 2023-2024 Nigeria Premier Football League (NPFL) season. These were the assertions of the youthful Enugu State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Honorable Lloyd Ekweremadu, during an interview with newsmen on Saturday, 12th August 2023 at UNEX Stadium, venue of the football event of the just concluded the Southeast Zonal elimination of the National Youth Games. Honorable Ekweremadu assured of his immense support to the Flying Antelopes as they get set to commence the new season come ending of August 2023 or September. And the Enugu Sports Boss has stated that he has hit the ground running with fruitful interactions with the management and critical stakeholders on how to energize and better the performance of the team in their football adventures this season. I will definitely be there at every opportunity to support Rangers International FC when the new season gets underway. I'll be there, and as far as moving forward, be rest assured the team will do great things this season, as there is a lot of new things happening at the management level for the club. He stated, I have had some meetings with the members of the management, and I'm enthused with the new ideas. There is a lot of freshness, and I think the players will be happy with what we have in stock for them for the season. The new Rangers that you will see will be one that will get a lot of support from our people because of the way they will be presented this coming season. Ekweremadu stated the new Commissioner for Youth and Sports guaranteed that Rangers of the new season will be as if it's a new club, where supporters all over the world will be happy with what they will see in the upcoming season, he stated. And that's the words of that's coming from the new Commissioner for Youth and Sports in Enugu State, in the person of talking about Lloyd Ekweremadu. Let's move away from Enugu State. Let's go to Imo State. This time around, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma has received members of the Nigeria Super Falcons from Imo State who participated in the FIFA Women's World Cup tournament, FIFA Women's World Cup tournament in Australia and New Zealand, describing them as good ambassadors of both Imo State and Nigeria. And the four Imo State born footballers are proudly received by the governor include Chiamaka Nnadozie, Desire Obaranozie, Osinachi Ohale, and Tochukwu Oluehi. And during the reception at the government house, Owerri, and that was on Wednesday, Governor Uzodimma gifted each of the four footballers a plot of land and a cash over $10,000. Governor Uzodimma stated that the footballers that they made Imo State proud with their quality representation despite the diversity of the nation, an indication that Nigeria can do better as a united country where the citizens are at liberty to compete. Responding on behalf of our colleagues, Desire Obaranozie thanked Governor Uzodimma for his generosity and for deeming it fit to reward them, notwithstanding that they didn't win the competition. Way to go, you have to say. And the likes of Chiamaka Nnadozie, Desire Obaranozie, also Osinachi Ohale and Tochukwu Oluehi are now $10,000 richer. They can take that to the bank and cash that, and that's some huge amount of money for them, plus a plot of land. So we will have to say for Chiamaka Nnadozie, Desire Obaranozie, Tochi Oluehi, and Osinachi Ohale, it's good times for them, and kudos to the Imo State government. That's the way to go. Huge support for these sports personalities, you have to say, and congratulations to them. Anthony Joshua, who now turned to boxing, was unexpectedly extended into the 7th round by Robert Helenius on Saturday, but Isaac Chamberlain believes that performance will prepare Joshua for Deontay Wilder. And Chamberlain, who challenged Michael Lawal for the British and Commonwealth cruiserweight titles on October 21, has spared with Deontay Wilder, has been in camp with other top heavyweight. Wilder is at the fight. Joshua is targeting next, and the Americans team told the media they were optimistic that the contest could be made for early 2024. Deontay Wilder knocked out Helenius he knocked him out in the 7th round, even though Joshua only stopped Helenius in the latter half of the bout. And Chamberlain, I believe it will still help him prepare for Wilder. And former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion Scott Walsh discussed who would win in some of the biggest fantasy matchups between the 1990s heavyweight and the top stars of today. And Lawal is known for his punch power, but Chamberlain is adamant his own sparring sessions with the likes of Wilder and Alexander Usyk have him well prepared for that one. Moving away from that now, let's talk about Nigeria players abroad. And let's tell you that Nigerian striker Chuba Akpom has completed his transfer to Dutch giants Ajax Amsterdam from English side Middlesbrough FC. The 4-time European champions have confirmed that they are paying a transfer fee of 12.3 million euros to Middlesbrough, and the deal includes performance-related add-ons we hear. Furthermore, Akpom has inked a 5-year contract that will keep him at Ajax Amsterdam until the end of the 2027-2028 season, as the Amsterdam-based side looks to win the Dutch Eredivisie title. Ajax, Middlesbrough FC, and Chuba Akpom have reached an agreement about the transfer of the striker to Ajax. A club statement read, and that was on Wednesday. The 27-year-old Brit has signed a contract until June 30, 2028. Ajax pays a transfer fee of 12.3 million euros to Middlesbrough FC. This amount can rise to a maximum of 14.3 million euros due to variables. Akpom, who scored 28 goals in 38 league matches last season for Middlesbrough, has represented his country of birth, England, at youth and under 21 international levels, having been born in London to Nigerian parents. In 2019, the former Arsenal player announced that he switched his international allegiance to represent Nigeria for future games, but is yet to make his debut for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So Chuba Akpom asks about him at the Riverside Stadium. He's no longer at the Riverside Stadium. He has now moved to Amsterdam and will now be playing for Ajax Amsterdam for a deal worth £12.3 million, and he has signed a 4-year deal for the Dutch club. From one player to another this time around, let's talk about the Ghana forward Kevin Prince Boateng, and KPB, as is fondly called, has announced his retirement from professional football. The 36-year-old was a journeyman during his career, and he turned out for 15 clubs in Europe, including Italian giant AC Milan and Spanish heavyweight Barcelona. Boateng confirmed his decision to retire in an Instagram story, and that was on Saturday. The Berlin-born star's most recent club is a German outfit Hertha Berlin, where he also started his professional career, and that was in 2004. Berlin boy, blue and white blood, our flag forever on his chest. It was an honor at Prince 27. Kwabayu career. Thanks for everything, a club statement I read. Boateng opted to represent Ghana at senior level 15 times between 2010 and 2014 after turning out for Germany's youth national teams, and he scored 2 goals for the Black Stars of Ghana and represented the West African country at the 2010 and 2014 FIFA World Cups. But right now, talking about that man, Kevin Prince Boateng will no longer continue to play the game of football, and I wish him all the very best at the next level of his career. You fancy that man may just go into football management like most of the other players would do. And of course, deciding to retire now, that's a big one, a big decision for his career. Some would want to go to Saudi Arabia and get some Arab money before they retire. But for Kevin Prince Boateng, he feels it is time for him to say bye-bye to the round leather game. And now, moving away from that, let's talk about athletics. Let's tell you that Russian and Belarusian track and field athletes are unlikely to be able to compete at the 2024 Olympics, says World Athletics President Lord Koy. World Athletics has banned the competitors from the two countries from its events, including under a neutral flag because of Russia's invasion over Ukraine, which has lasted for more than a year now. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has said that athletes should be able to compete as neutrals. However, Lord Koy said that World Athletics position was very clear. He was speaking in Budapest before the World Athletics Championships, which starts on Saturday, having been re-elected for a third and final term as the head of track and field governing body alongside a new council. The IOC has not made a final call for the Olympics and can only give broader recommendations, meaning individual sports can still choose to enforce bans. The new council, and it's a new council, I'm not going to speak for them in advance, but I will be very surprised if there is any shift in that position. Lord Koy said the two-time British Olympic champion, 66 years of age, has led World Athletics, formerly the International Association of Athletics Federation, the IAAF, and that has been since 2015. So it's not a good time for Russian and Belarusian athletes. Talk about Paris 2024 Olympics. We don't expect to see them featuring that Olympics coming up later. That's next year. And now time for us to check out what's happening in motorsports, Formula One to be precise. In Formula One, Fernando Alonso is discussing perception and reality, the difference he sees between the wider public image and his assessment of himself. Alonso's observation has been prompted by discussion of a remark he made in the most recent series of Netflix Drive to Survive, a show widely regarded as central to the transformation in Formula One's popularity over the past few years. A two-time world champion and one of the sport's most celebrated and fascinating figures, Alonso says in an episode that on F1's character board, he is on the dark side. As he talks to me in his Aston Martin team's headquarters at the Belgian Grand Prix, he explained what he meant and felt about the way he sees the Formula One, and he talked about some improvements that should come for the game of Formula One, the motorsports, which has strived for many years right now. For Fernando Alonso and a whole lot of other drivers, they have their stories to tell in their professional careers, professional drivers driving for these big teams out there in the Formula One, and that's the elite motorsports in the globe. Let's move away from Formula One. Let's talk about tennis right now. Novak Djokovic is in the news. Novak Djokovic has eased to victory at the Cincinnati Open in his first singles match in the United States, and that's in 2 years. The 23-time Grand Slam champion had been unable to compete in the U.S. over COVID protocols, but rules for unvaccinated foreign travelers were relaxed in May, enabling him to return to competition. He won at the first set 6-4 against Spain's Alejandro Davidovich Fokina, who later retired with a back issue. Elsewhere, Australian qualifier Max Purcell beat third seed Casper Ruud in 3 sets for the first victory over a top 10 ranked player. Purcell, the world number 70, saved 6 out of 7 break points to win 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 and set up a meeting with 3-time Grand Slam winner Stanislas Wawrinka, and the Swiss former world number 3 continued his return to form with a 6-3, 6-4 win over American 16th seeded Francis Tiafoe, and 6th seed Yannick Sinner also bowed out, losing 6-4, 7-6 to Serbian Dusan Lajovic, and Russian third seed Daniil Medvedev moved into the last 16 with a 6-3, 6-2 win over Italy's Lorenzo Musetti, and Medvedev, who claimed the title in 2019 before going on to reach the US Open final, faces Germany's Alexander Zverev next. Zverev won 7-5, 6-4 against Japan's Yoshito Nishioka, while Greek 4th seed Stefanos Tsitsipas and American 9th seed Taylor Fritz both also progress. And Tsitsipas plays Poland's Hubert Hurkacz, who knocked out Croatia's defending champions Borna Koric, and the victory over the 36-year-old Serb, first time playing singles in Cincinnati since 2019, although he lost in doubles on Tuesday when he and compatriot Nicolas Kasic were beaten by Britain's Jamie Murray and Michael Venus of New Zealand. And now let's talk about some football stories. Let's tell you that U.S. head coach Latko Andronovsky has resigned after the team's worst performance at a Women's World Cup. We hear the 4-time winners we are knocked out by Sweden in the last 16 on penalties at this year's tournament. It was the team's earliest exit from a World Cup. They had finished at least a third at every other edition. And Tila Kilgore, a current assistant coach of the national team, has been named the interim head coach of the team. Andronovic's record with the team was 51 wins, 5 draws, and 9 losses, while at major tournament he oversaw 3 wins, 2 draws, and 5 defeats. He took charge of the team in October 2019 after Jill Ellis, the coach who led the team to back-to-back World Cup wins, and that was in 2015 and 2019, stood down. That's not a good way to start a career for that man Andronovsky, and right now he has moved on because of the poor performance. Sweden were knocked out, or rather United States were knocked out by Sweden penalties in the round of 16 at the FIFA Women's World Cup. And now, away from that, now let's talk about Harry Kane. Of course, you know Harry Kane has made a move from Tottenham Hotspur to Germany, and Thomas Tuchel insists that Harry Kane will improve the performance of his Bayern Munich teammates as the England captain settles into life in Germany. We hear, and the 30-year-old striker left Tottenham Hotspur after 19 years to move to the Bundesliga champions for an initial 100 million euros plus add-ons. He made his debut in the German Super Cup defeat by RB Leipzig, and that was last week. And Kane is expected to start this Friday as Bayern open the defense of their league title with an away fixture at Werder Bremen. And Tuchel says that Kane improves his new size chances of winning each match this season significantly. You're watching Sports Today on ABS TV. We'll take a short break on the show. When we come back, we'll serve you the league fixtures of matches across Western Europe. We'll tell you what to go down this weekend in France, Germany, the Bundesliga, Spain, La Liga, in Italy, the Serie A, and the Premier League in England, and that's on the flip side of Sports Today.
Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS. With delight, we bring you the light that we bear through our illustrious leaders. Our icons. Our industrious people. Our rich culture. Our places of pride. And our mouth-watering cuisine. With unbridled professionalism and renewed tenacity, we serve you real-time news, information, entertainment of varied genres with unfettered reach of your clients and customers. AB.
Welcome back to the show Sports Today on ABS TV. It's the last one for this week on the show. And in the first half, I told you how SWAN Vice President Southeaster Frankie Omokoa yesterday paid a courtesy call to the number 2 citizen of the state, talking about His Excellency Dr. Onyeka Chukwu Ibezim. We equally told you that there will be a breath of fresh air for Rangers International, according to the new Commissioner for Youth and Sports in that state, in the person of Honorable Lloyd Ekweremadu. Also on the show, we told you about how Imo State Governor in the person of Imo State Governor in the person of Hope Uzodinma has rewarded about 4 players. 4 players who are from Imo State that featured in the Super Falcons team, the World Cup, the likes of Chiamaka Nnadozie, Desire Okparanozio, Sinachio Hale, and Tochukwu Oluehi, who got $10,000 each, and then they got $10,000 each and a plot of land also for their reward for their exploits. We equally told you that Anthony Joshua is looking at taking on Deontay Wilder. And then on the show also, we equally told you that Chuba Akpom has completed his move from Middlesbrough to where he has moved to Ajax Amsterdam in the Dutch League. Also on the show, we told you that Kevin Prince Boateng has scored time on his professional career, a career he started in 2004. And 2004 to 2024, that's 20 years. It's an illustrious career, you may say. And Lord Kowi also, we told you a story from World Athletics that they don't expect Russian and Belarusian athletes to feature the Olympics are coming up in 2024. That's Paris 2024. We equally told you about Fernando Alonso, of course, giving an insight into his career as a Formula One driver. And then we'll give you the results from Cincinnati, how Novak Djokovic saw through and got the better of his opponent to win the Cincinnati Masters. And then we equally told you about the U.S. coach Andronovsky, who has resigned his position after the worst record of the U.S. female national team at the World Cup. And then we told you about Hurricane Thomas Tuchel, talking about the Hurricane, the signing from Tottenham Hotspur for a fee worth 100 million euros, and how he is going to contribute to the growth and development of the team and their success stories. Now, before we jet on the show, let's now serve you the fixtures of league matches in Western Europe. Let's start with Ligue 1 in France. Metz is expected to take on Marseille. Later tonight is Lyon playing Montpellier. Toulouse will host PSG. Lille will take on Nantes. Brest is away on the road to Le Havre. Lorient will welcome Nice. Reims at home to Clermont Foot. Monaco is at home to Strasbourg. Lens will host Rennes. In Germany, the Bundesliga, Werder Bremen will play Bayern Munich. Augsburg will take on Borussia Mönchengladbach. At the Bay Arena, is Bayer Leverkusen expected to trade tackles with RB Leipzig. Hoffenheim, the village club, will take on Freiburg. Is Stuttgart playing Bochum. Heidenheim, the new team promoted to Bundesliga, will play Wolfsburg away from home. Borussia Dortmund at the Signal Iduna Park will take on FC Cologne. It's Union Berlin playing Mainz, and Eintracht Frankfurt is at home to Darmstadt. In Spain, we'll have the La Liga. Real Mallorca will take on Villarreal. Valencia at the Mestalla will take on Las Palmas. Real Sociedad will take on Celta Vigo. Almeria will welcome Real Madrid. Osasuna is at home to Athletic Bilbao. Girona is at home to Getafe. Barcelona will play Cadiz at the Nou Camp. Is Real Betis at the Benito Villamarin will take on Atletico Madrid. I think that's one of the toughest trackers this weekend. Alves is at home to Sevilla, and Granada is at home to Rayo Vallecano. In Italy, Empoli will host Verona. Frosinone will host Napoli. Genoa is at home to Fiorentina. Inter Milan will host Monza. Is AS Roma taking on Salernitana. Atalanta is on the road to Sassuolo. Lecce will welcome Lazio. Udinese will play Juventus, and Torino is at home to Cagliari, while Bologna will take on AC Milan. And watch out for Bologna, AC Milan, another cracker. Lastly, in England, Fulham will take on Brentford. That's the first match. Or rather, Nottingham Forest will take on Sheffield United. That's the first match. Then we'll have Fulham playing Brentford. In other fixtures, Liverpool is at home at 2. Bournemouth, Luton Town, the new boys will take on Burnley. Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux will play Brighton and Hove Albion. Is Tottenham Hotspur playing Manchester United. That's a cracker for this weekend. Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, Manchester City, Newcastle United. Watch out for that match. Aston Villa is at home to Everton. West Ham United taking on Chelsea in the London derby. And another London derby is also up for this weekend. This time around is on Sunday, and it's Crystal Palace taking on Arsenal. You remember that last season, the first match for Arsenal was against Crystal Palace. I think they got the better of them by 2-0. And then lots of things that happened there in that season. And Arsenal were close to winning the league. But Crystal Palace, has lost a big player this season. But let's see how they will cope with the exit. Well, that's about the size of the show this Friday. Sports Today on ABS TV. It's been fun talking sports from Monday down to Friday. The show will take a break and we'll return for another episode on Monday. My name is Ike Nwokede. Have a lovely weekend, but keep sporting. Bye-bye now.
Anambra. Gọvanọ anyị bụ Prọfesọ Charles Chukwuma Soludo CFR ekpebigo ime ka Anambra steeti nwee agamniru n'ọrụ ugbo otu ọ dịbu na mbụ oge Dr. Michael Okpara na-achị dịka Premier Eastern Region.
Dr. Michael Okpara gbanwere Eastern Region mgbe ahụ ka ọ bụrụ otu n'ime mpaghara ndị ahụ akụnụba ha na-eme ọfụma n'ụwa niile.
Ọrụ mmepe mgbe ahụ kwadụkarịrị nnọọ ukwu n'ihe gbasatara ọrụ ugbo ọkachasị imepụta mmanụ Igbo.
Oge dịka oge ahụ ka Soludo chọrọ iweghachi azụ na Anambra steeti maka na o ruru ya anya na ọ bụ ụzọ kachasị mma a ga-eji chụọ ụbịam ọsọ ukwu elu ala.
N'ihi ya, Gọvanọ Soludo na-ekesara ndị Anambra mkpụrụ akwụ na mkpụrụ akụ Igbo ka anyị kwado ezi ebumnobi a site n'ịkọ ma zụọ mkpụrụ erimeri ndị a ka ọ wee nwee agba dịka ọ dịbụ na mbụ.